If you're interested in pursuing a career in game development without a degree, there's some good news and some bad news. You can, but it's not easy. So, to know how to get into the industry, let's talk about what you would actually do on the job as an engineer. That's pretty much writing code, collaborating with other teams like product and design and art and so on and so forth. It's all unique depending on the work. You'll have to sometimes you'll work with assets like sprites and 3D models and audio clips and cameras, stuff like that. There's a lot that goes into a game, and so you'll have to be familiar with how to work with them. Sometimes you'll you'll have to be building those yourself, depending on kind of the job, and I'll get more into that into the future. But these are specifically like as an engineer. The key takeaway about those three tasks is that you can start doing them immediately. It's not like heart surgery where you have to have tons and tons of prior experience to try it out. Like you can immediately do any of those things. So that's like one great part about it. But the hard part about that is mastering those tasks. So you can start with them quickly, but you'll have to spend a lot of time. And as you spend more time on them, you improve more. It's the same thing as like exercise or like art is a big one for me. It's like you have to keep doing it, and you'll get better and better, and you can apply your skills even if you're early on in certain ways. That's kind of just comes with the territory, right? So again, that's really good, and you can learn how to do the job essentially by doing the job, right? And that's kind of a fantastic way of looking at it, and I'll talk about that more on in the rest of this video. Right now, many universities they won't actually teach you those specific skills super well. They'll include some of the stuff, especially if you were going particularly for a game design degree. Like, they'll teach you these kinds of things. But if you are going into computer science, they'll teach you some tidbits about writing code. There'll be a couple classes about it, but it's not a extensive knowledge from my experience. So aside from that, like there's the added factor of teaching you all these different things that not necessarily so relevant to computer science. They might be useful skills, or useful knowledge, but it's not the most relevant thing for specifically building applications, right? And so that's kind of like a complication of it. There's that. There's the usual minimum of 4 years, and there's just the added tuition is typically insane with some justification of oh, you live on campus and that's cool, or we have the college experience and things like that, as well as like we have tons of these other courses that you would never think to spend that much money on if it were outside of college. So just something to keep in mind, and obviously like that might be why you're here is is noticing these things. So with that said, like there is valuable information. Again, you can learn from university, like I said, but in the case of like if you want to build applications and learn how to create like apps or get a job like working as somebody who writes code, it's often not worth that tuition. So going deeper into that, like while a degree can like help you get your foot into the door, because a lot of people as you're starting out, they don't really want to hire you, they want some reason to hire you. So a degree can help you get your foot into the door, but times are changing. Companies are kind of making more of a realization that like there's a lot of exceptional developers who learn by other means than university. So before I continue, if this information is helping you out, make sure to hit subscribe right there and click the bell to get all notifications if you want to see more content like this. And with that said, let's talk about kind of the alternatives to getting a degree or university, or however you want to phrase it. Remember that the most important thing for getting a position is proving that you can do the work required for that position before getting it, right? Which might seem a little bit paradoxical, but hear me out here. So the single best way is to make that job for yourself first. So let's think about what that means in the case of game development is, yes, learn how to make some games right now, build a couple of them. They'll suck. That's good. Eventually they won't suck, but even if they do, they'll prove your ability to build the kind of software, right? Because there's a lot that goes into a game, like just open up the apps, write some stuff, mess around with cubes. Like there's some cool games that just use super low polygon art, use whatever thing, make some interactive apps. If you want to work in Unity, if you want to work in Unreal, open them up, make some things in them, and go from there. Obviously, if you're fully starting out, like that'll be a great way is I think, in my opinion, the best way of learning programming is kind of give yourself a goal, like, hey, I want to make, I don't know, some paper airplane game in Unreal or whatever it is, right? And learn everything that you need to learn to get there, because that's the easiest way of giving yourself a learning goal. Because otherwise, you won't really know what it is that you don't know. That's what an employer is looking for. Is they need to know that you can do the job, right? And they need to know that essentially you will make them more money than they're paying for you to be employed with them. So we could kind of refer to this kind of method as like the self-taught method. We kind of covered university. This is self-taught. But if you're here, you've probably heard about coding boot camps as well. So I'll kind of briefly touch on those. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad. I can't advocate for like saying this one's good, this one's bad. You'll have to do that research on your own. Let's just start with like the cost efficiency is kind of like the most attractive part of a coding bootcamp, in my opinion, is that like it's astronomically more cost effective to go to a boot camp than to go to most universities. If you look at just tuition from what we were mentioning earlier, and obviously some of them have different payment plans. Some of them have a deferred tuition. Some of them have monthly payment plans, whatever it is. So just something to think about here. So one important misconception is that like all the boot camps will only teach you like how to write software or like apply JavaScript or something, which is not the case. Oftentimes, like those that you will see that are popular, they do give you a computer science knowledge. They do give you algorithmic and critical thinking and problem solving knowledge. If you were to go to a boot camp, make sure that you're going to a good one that covers on those topics enough for you to perform well. And most importantly, for you to continue learning based on that basis of knowledge you have in creating algorithms or creating software. It's very important to have like the fundamental understanding of problem solving in the space of computer science, software engineering, and making algorithms, because that way you can learn and make your own and problem solve it on the job, because that's what like advanced programming is all about. I think everybody's experience is a little bit different as to like which one of these things should I do. Like I'm happy to go more into that like in future videos. You'll have to determine which ones are correct for yourself, and hopefully this knowledge helps you make a better decision on that. If that's the case, leave a like. And yeah, I mean, for those of you who are wondering, I went through all methods. I did some university, I did a boot camp, but even before those, I was building my own stuff. Like early on in university, I started like selling games and stuff like that. So it's definitely great to just do things, because that is what people are paying attention to, at least employers. They want to know that you're interested in this stuff. They want to know you can do the job. They want to know it's what you want to do. So yeah, I mean, I think the key to landing the position you want is being open to all these different positions. Maybe you have a dream job. Maybe there are aspects about the job that are super interesting to you that you can get in other jobs. Like, be open to a lot of opportunities, but not ones that you don't want to do. It's very important to want to do the jobs that you're applying for. So apply often to only the ones you want to do, and you should optimize your resume and your cover letter specifically for each job. I'll get more into that in a future video. For now, there's a tool that I use to do that that I'll link in the description below. So keep that in mind. If you had more specific questions to ask, make sure to leave a comment below. Or check out omniriff.com/consulting, which will be down here too, for direct help. Yeah, if this helped you out, again, leave a like, and make sure to check out this other video right here that kind of covers my experience with getting my first job, like in Unity engineering. But yeah, hope this helped, and I will see you guys in the next one.